Hello Stampers, this is Yana Smakula. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm showing you several ideas to create one-layer tropical patterns for your summer cards with the help of course, stamps and markers. Pattern stamping is the technique that is near and dear to my heart. It is a relatively easy technique to do, and it will always give you new, unique results with your stamps. I'm using several stamp sets to stamp patterns I'm showcasing in this video. However, any other stamps can be used for this. In fact, I have many videos on my channel showing pattern stamping using various stamp sets, and I will link to a few at the end of this video, so be sure to explore them if you're looking for more ideas on the subject. All of the stamps I have for you today are from Pretty Pink Posh. I'm using Hibiscus Flower Set, Tropical Birds, Summer Surfboards, and Tropical Toucans. All fabulous stamp sets just in time for summer and perfect for pattern stamping as the images in these sets are nice and large in size. They also have a lot of open space and are great for coloring too. One of the key tools you will need to use when doing pattern stamping, at least the kind of pattern stamping I'm showing in this video, is masking paper. If you don't have masking paper, you can use some alternatives like Post-it notes or even printer paper. Masking paper is the best option as it is sticky and it will make the task easier. But using printer paper and some low-tech tape also works. I prefer to use this big roll of masking paper for all of my masking projects. It's not expensive, there's also a lot of tape in here and it lasts a very long time. I've had this roll for more than a year now, and I still have a pretty good amount of tape left. Masking technique and using masking paper is also great for project planning. This palm trees and birds card, for example, wasn't coming along as I had imagined, so I used masks and placed them over my background to help me envision the future pattern. You can also use your stamps and just place them on the paper to be able to better figure out the image placement, so just the stamps. But stamps are see-through, and sometimes that is distracting more than it is helping. So using cutout masks instead is a good alternative. Besides, you will need masks anyways to stamp the pattern later. Now, if you don't like fussy cutting and don't like to make masks, I know I don't, and I typically avoid this at all costs, you can also do something called lazy masking. For this, you'll need to utilize your coordinating dies if you have them, and simply cut the masks out using dies. My friend Svetlana has a great video tutorial showing lazy masking. I have her video linked here in the upper right-hand side corner. Be sure to check it out. Lazy masking will give you a small border around your images, and you'll later need to fix it using a pen to connect all of the stamped lines, or leave it as is if you don't mind having that border. For this instance, I went ahead and made the masks I needed for my patterns. While it did take me some time to cut the masks out, I didn't mind doing that as I knew I could reuse the masks many times and use one mask on more than just one card. This justified the time that I took to cut the masks out. One tip I'll give you is to use a good pair of detailed scissors when cutting the masks. I like to use these detailed shears from Fun Stamper's Journey. They cut beautifully and they are small enough to cut small details out. Love these scissors. When you stamp patterns using your stamps, it's like telling a story, but instead of using words, you're using images. When you use several stamp sets, you broaden your horizon, so to speak, or your vocabulary, as you can pull images from several sets to mix and match them to tell a different story. I prefer to use stamps that are similar in style, that have the same thickness of the outline, so that the outlines of my stamped images are all about the same, and I don't have some stamped images with a very skinny line and some stamped with a very bold line. This card, for example, tells a story of a beautiful deserted island full of exotic birds and tall palm trees. It's a perfect destination to do some surfing, hence the surfboards in the foreground, and is especially gorgeous at night. I mentioned nighttime because I plan to color the background using dark colors, the colors you would see at night. This other pattern that consists only of the tropical leaves tells us the story of a beautiful night sky in the tropics. Imagine yourself laying down on the ground, listening to the sound of nature and looking up into the sky. What do you see? I see tropical leaves from the trees and shrubs growing around me, and I also see sky with shining stars. The sky here is the white empty space that will be colored dark blue later. Look at your stamps in a different way. Imagine these are words that will help you paint a story on your card. The most satisfying part of creating masked backgrounds is, of course, peeling the masks away. You gently remove these thin pieces of paper and reveal a background that is just waiting to be colored and brought to life. With the abundance of coloring mediums available out there these days, we all have our favorite mediums to color with. Colored pencils, watercolor paints or watercolor markers, alcohol markers. Whatever medium you prefer to color, don't forget to pick the right type of ink and paper for your stamping. All of the patterns I show in this video were colored using alcohol markers, Copics. The stamping was done in alcohol marker-friendly ink. I used Intense Black from Hero Arts, and my stamping was done on Neenah Solar White 80-pound cardstock. I like to color in little sections so that I can see what my background and what my chosen colors are going to look like almost right away. Here, for instance, I'm coloring the leaves and also coloring the background. I'm not waiting to color all of the leaves first and then color the background. I like to color things together. I prefer deep, dark, vibrant backgrounds to backgrounds done in light or pale colors. But you don't have to color the background if you don't like. You can leave it white. I am not going to show you all of the coloring process as it is very time consuming, and I'm not doing anything new here. It's just doing 3 or 4 simple color blends. Here is one of the patterns finished. The leaves, even though were colored using very light green colors, pop off the dark blue background and look stunning on this piece. Coloring is not the last step. You can also do a lot more to your stamped pattern to add some additional interest to your future card. Here, I'm using a shimmer pen from Tonic Studios and adding a generous coat of clear shimmer over the night sky. I also want to paint in the stars because I'm looking up into the night sky on this card. For this, I'm using my Sakura white pens in size 10, size 8, and size 5 for different size stars on the card. I even took this pattern further by adding a bunch of jewels in dark blue. Don't they look pretty? To complete this card, I added a gold heat embossed sentiment that reads, "Wish you were here." To finish my hibiscus pattern, I stamped Aloha in black on some light blue cardstock and added a lot of jewels in sea glass across the deep blue-green background. My final card for today was completed in the exact same way. I colored the background using Copic markers, added a summary sentiment, and embellished it with jewels. Tell me, which pattern or which card do you like the most? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. I hope you will give this idea a try. If you do, please share online and tag me. I always love seeing what you guys are making. On the screen, there is a link to a playlist with all my pattern stamping tutorials. Love you guys. I'll see you next week.